Well, hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all. Today is Fri-YAY, the 13th. Dun dun dun. You know what? I don't know why there's such a stigma behind Friday the 13th other than a series of really poorly done Freddy Krueger. Was it Freddy Krueger movies? Was he the Friday the 13th guy? I think he was. Aside from that, oh, I just got yelled at. It was Jason. I'm sorry. It's been 20 years since I've watched those movies at least. So I guess it's the only stigma around Friday the 13th is the little scary movies from the what late 80s or early 90s. And I mean they were fun back then, and I mean they're still fun to clearly watch now because my 18-year-old was just yelling at me about them. But it's, you know what? Maybe it's an omen. Let's pull out our crystal ball and see what our legislative sessions are going to look like. Because with the first Friday the 13th being in January, and it's when both of the morning Tony, when it's both of our house in Texas and our house in the US both are acting like crap bags. It kind of feels like there may be a shtick here with the Friday the 13th, except I think the only difference is I don't think they're ruining us in Austin today specifically. We're gonna wait and see what happens in Washington D.C. today. I don't recall if they were in session today or not. I'm usually fairly decent at keeping up with that, but it's been a week for politics, especially here in Texas. As you guys know, we've been talking about what's happening in Austin. What a crap bag show. Worst speaker of the house possibly in Texas history. We're going to talk today. Y'all are going to be shocked by this conversation. We're going to talk about the uniparty. Okay, it's real. Like this isn't a conspiracy theory. And what's fun is because I've had a crystal ball long before I ever had a crystal ball. I knew that there was a uniparty. I used to just call them the establishment, because they were like you know how like Chuck Schumer and John Cornyn actually work together really well. And then they get out in front of the camera and they're like, "We hate each other. Roar! Hashtag fake outrage." Well, the thing is that it's not just for 90-year-old men. I'm just kidding. I think they're both in their 70s, maybe 80s. It's not just for 90-year-old men who have done nothing else with their lives other than rob the American people blind. It's also for people like Tony Gonzalez and Dade Phelan. Neither one of them are very old men. Um, so I think it's going to be exciting. We're going to talk some about that. I can't find my phone. They're supposed to be finding my phone. There was some good meme actions that was going on. You guys know that memes are my love language. And so we were talking about, hold on, find my iPhone. Hey, when the thing starts going off, find it. Find my iPhone. This is, I tell people all the time, the only reason I have an Apple Watch is so that I can find my phone because I never know where the heck it is. Uh, anyway, um,
It's nearby. Pinging your iPhone now.
thank you. Thank you very much. Um, the Uniparty has, how do we send you memes? Sandra at texasfullyloaded.com is the fastest way to get to them to me directly. I want to talk oh my gosh, there's so much. I've lost count now of how many carloads or whatever of classified documents that Joe Biden has been uncovered, not stored in a proper location. And one of the memes that I saw was specifically about that. Did I put any of those on this phone? Hold on, because there's just so much real life that's happening, that you can't process all of it. Hold on. And so when we're seeing all of this, I'm gonna, you know what, Warren, let me put it in black and white. I know, and I love to try and share them as often as possible. And I will, if it's good enough, like I'll interrupt a conversation to make a good meme come up on the show. Y'all have seen me do it. I ain't scared. But anyway, we've had the come and take it memes with the stoves. Hold on. I think he's helping his sister. Hold Oh my goodness, if for no other reason, we just had to make that binging stop. Okay. As you guys recall, there was, it's been one of them mornings. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just been one of the days. Um, Here we go. This is, you want to know what the different, Joe Biden's administration had talked about the whole gas stoves. The memes have been amazing on there. I need you to see the difference between an oven and an assault oven. It's pretty intense. Pretty intense. It's cheesy, but I love cheesy. Cheesy's my favorite. That's like the way to my heart is the cheesier the better. This one, okay. Y'all know that I quit following the NFL a long time ago, but you still know what's going on even if you don't know what's going on, right? And it's almost Super Bowl season. Um, and Dak Prescott, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but Dak Prescott is throwing a temper tantrum because of wild card season weekend, right? And I get it. I get it. He's not used to the Cowboys doing halfway decent either. So he was just like, so he's throwing a temper tantrum. And it said, quote, he said the NFL should not schedule Monday playoff games during wild card weekend. It isn't fair. This poor guy. Hold on. It's going to get worse for him. Just give him a second. Hold on. Hold on. Try not to cry. I have a cruise booked for next Sunday and I have to provide 7 days notice for cancellation. I should be okay. But there's a lot at stake. It's a Disney cruise. Did y'all hear any of that this fool said? I'm not making this up. He said this is on the playoffs harshing his vacay. I mean, this is real life. Absolutely. You know, it almost sounds like he has one of them white privilege cards. I mean, he's got it rough right now, doesn't he? Poor thing. So the Cowboys suck so badly. I mean, they do. They always have. Y'all know when I did watch the NFL as a Redskins fan. Um, they play on Christmas, New Year's, and Thanksgiving. We don't care about your Disney cruise. PJ, what are you doing? Are you skipping class to watch your favorite show? If you're not, if you want to come on, I'll send you a link because you always got something to say. I love this is Baby MAGA. He's one of my most favorite people on this planet. He's absolutely an amazing patriot. Um, anyway, so um, so Dak Prescott, he's really got some nerve. He does. There are people who are trying to just keep the lights on, and he's making millions of dollars a year, to play football. Thank you for the clarification. PJ said he's sitting in ROTC watching his favorite morning show. I would hate for you to skip class watching your favorite show. So I get it. I get it. I get it. It's real life. Anyway, so not only does he make millions of dollars a year to play football, a game, he makes millions of dollars a year to play a game that every kid across the United States of America goes in the front yard, backyard, whatever, and plays. His team sucked so badly that he was shocked at the beginning of the season, presumably when he booked this cruise, that his team might make it into wild card status. Now he's mad that they did make it into wild card status, and now the game is on a Monday. First of all, the NFL has always played games on Mondays. What the crap, Dak? Do you know how your own profession works? Just asking. Then let's play the short game here for a second, okay? You don't think that he can't cover that cancellation fee? You don't think he can't financially take that hit? Now look, 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 look. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm not. I'm not because I will do anything I can to get out of a cancellation fee. I will beg, borrow, steal, plead, cry on the phone. I mean, I do what I need to do because if something comes up, something just comes up, right? this guy literally just uses $100 bills as toilet paper, and he's going to sit here and throw a temper. What is with these leading men? We had Dan Crenshaw throwing a temper tantrum earlier this week slash last week. Now we got that. We got Tony Gonzalez. Bro, the season was over before it started. It's because he's a cowboy. The Cowboys have always known the season was over before it started. They always have. The Cowboys haven't been good since like the 90s. And I can talk smack because, as I said, I have been a Redskins fan my entire life until they started that kneeling BS and then the Black Lives Matter anthem or some nonsense like that. And we got to talk about that in just a minute too. And then uh, they changed their name from the Washington Redskins, which is what their fans still call them, to some BS name like the Commanders or some nonsense. What a load of crap that was. So anyway, but then Manny was a lot. He left for the same reasons, except for the Redskins reasons. Was a lifelong Cowboys fan. He grew up going to Cowboys games and everything else. And so, like, I mean, and my father-in-law is a huge Cowboys fanatic. Like Tom Landry has literally a big painting in their bedroom. It's ridiculous. So I'm well versed in Cowboys ease. I know that the worst player for the Cowboys has been the same worst player for like the last 20 years, which is Jerry Jones. And if Uncle Jerry would just, piss off and retire and leave the dynasty to somebody else, the Cowboys might stand a snowball's chance and at actually winning, making it all the way. You know what, Dak? Here's the deal. Even if you miss the game, you're not going to miss much because honestly, I believe that you've actually kind of sucked this season if I keep up with my memes correctly. It doesn't really matter. Oh, look at that. He should give away the cruise. That's a fantastic idea, Wendy. He could like have some sort of fun essay competition for his little fans. How fun would that be? Dak Prescott has just turned into a Brokeback Cowboys, exactly. And so it's overprivileged, overpaid jackwagons. We talked about it last week, I think it was. I want to put the meme up. I'm sorry I'm showing them to you on my phone. I know Miss Patty hates it because she always tells me you guys can't see them very well. But when I see the replays, if you're not watching on your screen in the small corner, you can see them. Called you out, Miss Patty. I love you. The meme says it's a very good possibility that the lowest paid people on the football field that night had the most important job on Monday night's game, and because of them, someone is still alive. And it was when during the game where the Jamal had the heart attack on the field. How true is this? How true is this? Why this is not just for this example, okay? Let's talk about this in the grand scheme of life. And when Austin and I were talking about this the other day, when their dad sent it to the family chat kind of deal, everybody else is asleep in the car, so he and mom were just kind of talking kind of deal. Those are my favorites. And so he's like, mom, it's really sad. And I don't understand why it's set up that way. It makes it so that people don't want to be in these jobs. Like, why is it that these jobs are way more in high demand and are so much more necessary? This is from the mouth of a 14-year-old. And yet they're not making, how much money do they even make? So then we went through all of that. And then because me, if I find that teachable moment, I'm going to take that teachable moment because it's important that our kids know. So vital that our kids know this information. So then we started talking about our sheriffs and we started talking about our deputies and we started talking about the inconsistency in pay across just the state of Texas, not even across the country. Across the state of Texas, the inconsistency in pay. For example, deputies up in, I believe, Chambers County make anywhere from $60,000 to $90,000 a year. But then deputies who are dealing with actual physical death and cartel on the daily basis, like high-speed chases, abuse cases. I mean, every sheriff's department does. Don't misunderstand me. But they're dealing with this on a level that they've never seen before in the history of the border. and they're only making like $9 to $12 an hour. We've talked about this on the show a lot. Walter, this is one of Walter's favorite topics of conversation. Um, and so when we start seeing these inconsistencies, so then immediately Austin goes, well, then what is the draw for people to want to be a paramedic or want to be in law enforcement? They should be getting paid more than somebody who's playing sports. Now, this is my child whose dream is to be a major league baseball player. I guess that make you go, We here in America, you know what? I might be sticking it to the man. Today is Fri-YAY. Stick it to the man. Friday the 13th. What do you think about that? It seems a little. There's a lot of verbiage there. Maybe we can condense it, but it doesn't make sense, y'all. People's lives are on the line for somebody who makes $9 to $20 an hour. Think about that. What if that was you? Some of you have been that person. You've been in a terrible car accident. You've had a heart attack. This. You've had to call 911 and a paramedic shows up. Better yet, a volunteer paramedic shows up with a volunteer fire department. Here's where that one gets even worse. They have to pay to keep all their credentials up unless the volunteer department that they work for or their hospital or whatever is keeping up with their credentials. Now, a lot of that's changed a lot. So, forgive the oldness of that conversation, but just think about that concept. Think about places like Zapata County where they don't have any other emergency services other than the sheriff's department and the fire department. They have a dialysis center there, but at 4 o'clock, honey child, if you're having a heart attack, you better go to the fire department because we ain't staying to help you. That's not our job. Are you freaking kidding me? You're literally in the business of saving people's lives, but somebody having a heart attack at 4:05. Hope you can get over to the fire department because we're off the clock. What is wrong with our world today? Why do we so overvalue the things that don't matter? And then the stuff that actually is relevant, who cares? Who cares? Oh yeah, yeah. This is fun facts. In Montgomery County, our commissioners, mayors pay themselves more than Governor Abbott. I'm pretty sure the firemen are volunteers. I think that it's a good, healthy mix of volunteers and paid firemen. But I mean, that's the whole thing. Like some of these commissioners across the state of Texas, they make tons. They make more money than they do in Congress. I'm not even kidding. Look some of that nonsense up. Like some of these people, I mean, they are proud of themselves, and then they have the audacity to vote themselves up a raise. Mm, mm. It is a crying shame what is happening in our country. Uh, there's so much. There's so much. Okay, hold on. I had more. Um, this was definitely me today. This was me on the show when I was going through and I was finding all these funny. Like some days I wake up in the morning and the meme game is not good, and I'm like, oh, I need y'all to try just a little harder. Today the meme game was great, and I get about 5 or 6 memes in that I've saved to my phone, and then this pops up. It's this little cheeky looking chihuahua looking thing, and it says when someone tells you not to stir the pot, but you know you're going to stir the pot. I'm telling you what, if that is not the meme of Texas fully loaded, I don't really know what is. Um, we're going to talk about Mayorkas in just a little bit. Of course, we talked about very briefly, very briefly. We did talk about the oven thing, and we did talk about having classified documents in our garage today. I hope that you were all marked safe. Hold on. I try to do better, Miss Fanny. I'm sorry. There we go. There we go. I was marked safe. Are you saying that you're around? I was also marked safe from having classified documents in my garage today, randomly enough, in my Corvette when I'm anti fossil fuels. That's weird for everyone. I mean, think about it. Um, we talked about it being Friday the 13th. I want to talk a little bit. Uh, oh, this one was fun. So yesterday, I get all these. I mean, my phone buzzes off the freaking uh, charts with. Actually, here, let me put it up here so that you guys can see a little bit easier. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute, because y'all are going to scream. The BLM president's brother died on January 3rd, so 10 days ago. I'm sorry, the founder. It was his, okay. I was so close with all of that information. It was the BLM's founder's cousin died after Los Angeles police arrested him. They had to tase him. They had to tase him multiple times. Did any of y'all see this story or not? It popped up, and I thought, oh, here we go. Here we freaking go. And immediately, so of course, when the cops pulled him over, presumably they didn't know. I'm gonna give the cops the benefit of the doubt. You don't know who my cousins are, whether you love me or hate me either. Okay. So Keenan Anderson was a school teacher, and he died in a hospital in Santa Monica after a struggle with the police. Now, the police were fighting with him because they were trying. He ran, I believe it was a routine traffic stop. I think he was speeding or something like that. Several people. He was running the street and behaving erratically. Several people involved in the traffic collision told Officer that Anderson was responsible for the accident. The officer spoke with Anderson, who was initially compliant, but then here we go, here we have it, then tried to flee the scene and ran into the middle of the street. When additional units arrived, LAPD said. Anderson began to resist arrest, resulting in the use of force, according to the department. Now, they did tase him multiple times. There is no like limit on the times that you can tase somebody. But we've all seen these videos where they tase the guy and they just keep on coming. It's just like they charged him up to keep on going. Well, naturally, because Anderson presumably is like his cousin and just likes the limelight, and he says, they're trying to George Floyd me. They're trying to George Floyd me. Now, he didn't die at the scene. He died later at the hospital. They believe that he had, see if it says it in this article. I believe it was like cocaine and yeah. The LAPT toxicology test found cocaine and cannabis in Anderson's body. Now the cannabis, that didn't make him go crazy, but the cocaine, although these results are separate from the coroner's independent report, the chief said, I don't want to see that dude's nasty feet. Hey John, I sent you a link if you want it, pal. You don't have to, but if you do, you got it. Can we all talk about all of the irony in that? Now, he's a school teacher. Now, the school teacher is the guy who got tased and started screaming, they're trying to George Floyd me, and he had cocaine in his system. I want to know how he does when, the drug freeze the way to be rallies. Do they not do those at schools anymore? They do still do them at my kids' school. Look, I don't care what you do in your personal life. I talk about that all the time. This dude had cocaine in his system. They believe that he was also drunk. He caused wrecks. He starts running away. Then he starts fighting back when they're trying to get him to stop, when they had him cuffed and whatever. He's still fighting back and trying to run away. They ended up having to tase him. But this is the LAPD's fault. And and the creepy anti-drug, they are creepy anti-drug commercials. One of my favorites was the egg one. Remember, this is your brain, and then they crack the egg and they put it in the frying pan and it starts sizzling, and they're like, "This is your brain on drugs." Remember, you all remember that? Anyway, I digress. John Bobby Boucher.
How we doing, my friend?
Hey, we're talking about this is your brain and this is your brain on drugs, and immediately you showed up.
We're talking about what?
Well, we were talking about the BLM founder's cousin who died on January 3rd because he was intoxicated on cocaine. I thought maybe they thought alcohol also was involved. Caused multiple car accidents, then starts running when the cops showed up. They ended up having to tase him, and he starts screaming, "They're trying to George Floyd me."
Yeah, sounds pretty racist to me. What do you think?
It does. It does. It sounds like that guy was just as pure as the driven snow. And I had just started saying, he's a school teacher. I don't care that he had marijuana in his system. That part doesn't bother me. He was probably doing it on the weekends. We're good to go. It bothers me that he had cocaine in his system. Why? Are the schools not,
Have you had to deal with some of these kids lately?
He may have just needed the extra bump to try and grade some papers. I don't know.
Well,
How does the BLM have a leg to stand on this?
Well, they don't, and it doesn't matter. They just scream about everything. You see, Robbie Bachman passed away, the drummer for Bachman Turner Overdrive. So we've lost Jeff Beck, Lisa Marie Presley, and Robbie Bachman all within the same few days.
Yeah,
to a rocker like me, that hurts.
It is rough. Miss Patty says hi to you, John.
Hey, how you doing? I'm out trying to I got my hair cut today. I'm just out running a bunch of errands. But I saw you were on the air by yourself, Sandra, and I said, I can't let her do that. I got to aggravate her. That's what I do.
I appreciate it. We're having a Friday the 13th show, and I started it off with saying maybe it's an omen for what all the sessions are going to look like, that the first Friday the 13th was in January. I don't know. And I also have an egging question. I also have a question.
Nagging question.
Nagging, thank you. You just got to rearrange the letters sometimes. Why is it only Friday the 13th that are bad luck days? Why isn't it Tuesday the 13th that are considered bad luck days?
I don't know. Come on. I mean, maybe it had to do with the movie. Maybe it has something to do with some ancient ritualistic thing where the Democrats would get together and boil babies on this day back in the 10th century. I don't know. But look, so here's one for you. In order to keep everybody apprised of things, Montgomery County, we deal with this Republican Voters of Texas people. There was several complaints I know filed against them. The Texas Ethics Commission complaint were $1 on their ethics reports was a big one. Well, the Ethics Commission released something saying, yeah, we investigated it. We did make a ruling on that. We can't share it with you, though, because it's confidential, which means they probably found something. But coincidentally or not coincidentally, the Republican Voters of Texas website is now gone. Figure that out. So what are they going to pop up? What are they going to pop up as now? What's the next fake group they're going to come up with? So that's happening. The other thing, I got a rather disturbing call last night. So, as you know, what's going on in Texas House, the grassroots were upset because the Republicans changed the rules to get around keeping Democrat chairs from being seated, Democrat chairs of committees. That's number one. And then there was something introduced that was basically like if child gender modification issues come up, there's some procedure they put in place to try and stop that from being part of the discussion. So it's a pretty disgusting session already starting off. One of our people, and I'm not going to say his name, but if you think these activists aren't making a difference, they are. because I got a call last night. Yeah, this representative was in his office talking to a crowd of people, and he brought your name up, John Boucher. Wow, you think they'd have better things to talk about? Um, but yeah, so
And I'm
this
the
is
one
what.
that's always getting censored. What the crap?
Yeah, so and I'm on the air defending some of these people, as you know,
You
saying
do.
we don't have all the information, et cetera, et cetera, and we need to know what's really happening before we just go off the handle, because we lose credibility when we do that, honestly. And sometimes they set that trap for us. I used to do that to people in the corporate world. If I thought I had a problem on my staff or in one of the locations that I was over, I might give them some of the information, just to see where it would go, and then it would come back to me, and I would go, aha, I know who the problem is now. So yeah, I was pretty aggravated about that last night, because my thing was, is, and will continue to be to continue to do the right things the right way for the right reason, and try and advocate for the citizens, and to hold people accountable. And to have someone who is supposedly an ally of mine, um, saying disparaging things about me in their office in front of a crowd of people is disheartening, to say the least. And
Yeah, I
we're
should
going to
say
have that
so.
conversation face to face. I guarantee you when I see him.
I know you. I don't
That's
doubt
what's going
that for
on.
1 second. Do I doubt that? But here's the thing: is number one, it proves that they are at least watching or fear what we have to say on this show, and that's either
Yeah.
that's a good thing for the grassroots. Uh, in the same breath, though, if they were so afraid, why in the world aren't they just cleaning up their political act? I still hold
Well,
every single legislator accountable that voted for Dade Phelan for this transgender blocking. We knew it was going to
yeah.
happen. We warned it.
Well,
The
and that's
jellyfish
what they
crystal ball
do.
didn't lie.
Well, that's a tactic that's used a lot by these people. When you catch them in a lie or catch them doing something stupid, they can't argue against the facts, so they run out and try and discredit you and undermine you to people.
Yeah.
And that's what I was getting the feeling of when I got that call last night. Um, yeah, I was pretty annoyed by it, because I'm thinking, what have I done? I'm advocating for not drugging and mutilating our children. Number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, I'm advocating for not having Democrat chairs, just like
Mm-hmm.
the 10,000 or so Republicans at the convention did.
Right.
And this person says, well, gee, I guess John Boucher has some influence, so let me try and undercut him and accuse him of wanting power in Montgomery County. And I can't tell you how many times I've tried to resign from politics only to be pulled back in, because people ask me, and number two, out of our sense of responsibility, because God made me and gifted me with certain things that I know how to do.
Mm-hmm.
Communication, thinking through things, analysis, problem solving. Those are things I'm pretty good at. And I try and apply that for the betterment of our county and our state and our country. And to have these guys constantly impute motives like that, it's called projecting, really.
Right. Yep.
It's what they're doing. They're the ones that got their name on the ballot all the time, and are needing this power, the influence. They just got to have it. It's a drug to them. And I'm just the opposite. I'm trying to stay the hell out of that spotlight, and just work on the things that are important, that I believe are important, like water prices for our county, etc. But it's disheartening, Sam. It really is.
Wendy Yaki said in the comments, God gave Boucher courage. Absolutely. And then Simon said, John, just say the word and I will punch them right in their stupid faces. So.
Well, and here's the other problem. If I say the name of this person, all of a sudden they run out and tell everybody I'm attacking them on air.
Well,
but if they see this show, they know exactly who they are. And they should be ashamed of themselves. And I'm going to have that Book of Matthew conversation with them face to face when I see them, because it has to happen.
No, it absolutely does have to happen. And you know, we have to this is literally our job, is to hold these people accountable. That's why they work for we the people. And if they were doing a good job, all and do no, let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase that, because this is the hide behind, and I don't know who it was. John and I heard it for the very first time right here. It doesn't matter what your voting record is at this point. What are you standing for in the face of the giant? Are you only saying it to your constituents to get their votes? Or are you physically stopping this BS from happening on the floor? Are you the one that's standing up and filing, trying to file a motion or whatever to block this BS? Are you the one who voted the person who's perpetrating this, or who's promoting this crap? Because like I said, every single person who voted for Dade Phelan is accountable for anything to do with gender modification or transgendering or anything else, and our minor children.
Well, for the
They
voting,
have to wear that.
for the big voting board that you can see their votes,
Yeah.
they should have changed the icon from a check mark to a middle finger for all the people in the gallery, because that's what they gave them. It would have been entirely appropriate for Phelan to walk in there after that vote, look up to the gallery to all the red shirts, and just flip them all off, because that's really what he did.
Honestly, I kind of had a problem yesterday with some of the reps coming up into the gallery and thanking the grassroots for being there, when not one of them stood up for the grassroots the day before.
Yeah, and that's, yeah, you wonder why we keep getting what we're getting, and this is why. I mean, these people want so bad to stay in office, and, we don't pay them a lot to be up there, and they're worth every penny. Yeah, I said that. I don't know. Their heart's not in the right place with most of them. I saw Slayton. He tried to do the right thing. I mean, there's a handful of them that do. But there ain't enough of them. And just like you saw what happened to the U.S. House, when that handful stands up, all the people who claim to believe the same things they believe run away from him, point the finger at him, and stab him in the back.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. They were being called disruptors. Wait a minute. They're literally doing exactly what they ran on doing. They literally are doing exactly what they said they were going to do. I did appreciate.
They call them terrorists, and the things. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I appreciate that Crenshaw did not get in the committee seat that he was looking for the Homeland Security Department, and part of the reason was because he called other members of the Republican conference terrorists for not voting the same way he did.
I wonder if that's why he punched the wall.
Maybe. Wendy, were you there in Austin yesterday? We were on Facebook, on the show live with Rachel Heisler when Slayton did go up into the gallery, and he absolutely, the roars were so overwhelming, like we got complete silence, like her microphone on her phone it couldn't keep up with all of the accolades that were happening for Slayton, and rightfully so. Absolutely rightfully so. She was not there, but lots of our people were there. Every single time we go to Austin, we need to at least take him a Dr. Pepper. I'm not even kidding. Like, what a warrior. One day, if I want to be the girl version of Brian Slayton when I grow up. I said it.
Yeah, he is. I would like to meet him and hang out with him a little bit. He's a guy that he gets it, and he really fights for these things. He doesn't just pretend to fight for them when he thinks it'll gain him some political capital. Those are the people I respect. Yes. Look, I stand up. I stand up in the face of all this garbage here in this county, even when the people that are supposed to be advocating and helping stab me in the back and say, "Gee, can't you just get along with these people?" Why don't y'all just get together and pray it out? I'm like, you have, you are either the most ignorant person I've ever met or the most dishonest. And either way, it's not a good look for you.
It's not. You shouldn't look so desperate, honey. It's just it's not very becoming, as they say. We somebody sent me some information just now. I I thought that somebody else was received the most amount of money from him.
Terrorist is defined as a person you don't like. That's right. That's right, Simon.
Hey, Warren, can you send me that information so that because the information that I had gotten was that Ryan Guillen had received the most money from Phelan. So if that's the case, I will give it a rest on Guillen, and I will definitely go after Bumgartner even harder. I thought it was pretty cheesy salesman of him to just go right out and be like, "Hey, y'all."
Well, and you see the problem now. You see the speaker. I mean, I don't know if they still do card check there. When Strauss was in, he would go to all the conservatives and say, "We're doing card check. Write down here if you're going to vote for me or not before the vote." You know, I mean, this is a straight up Democrat tactic. That the unions do card
Oh
check.
my gosh.
Um, and had I been up there, I'd have handed it right back to him and told him to go screw himself. But um, he would strong arm people into that. And then if you didn't vote for him on the card, if they see this person's a liar, they can't be trusted. They just set the game up there, and we are the suckers every time. So Phelan pumping money into all the conservatives' bank accounts as a way to make them beholden to him.
Yep.
Um, you know, bought and paid for it. Bought and paid for it.
I'm looking. Okay, so then okay, hold on, because I just want to update you since you're driving. You can't be super in the comments. So Warren said that Baumgartner, who was the guy who came up in the gallery that Rachel was near Rachel, he said that he took $235,000 from Phelan. But then Wendy said that Stephanie Click she thought had gotten the most money from Phelan. Uh, Simon
We're
is
split,
now
we're
saying
splitting hairs because those are all equally worthless people to me. But go ahead.
absolutely they are. So far they have not listed one good one in the bunch.
Let me tell you a Stephanie Click story real quick on the air. You guys will
Do.
appreciate it. So Stephanie Click was the chair of one of these committees back in 2018 where there was a, a bill put forth to give the county chairman control of every bank account um, related to the county party. Right now, it's set up where you have a primary account that the chairman is over, you have a corporate account that the chairman is over, and you have a general fund that the CEC, the county executive committee, is over. Um, Back when we were dealing with our wayward chairman here in 2018, he wasn't raising any money, and the county executive committee was. So his solution was to use his influence to get a bill passed that gave him control of all three accounts or any account associated with that. And she was the one heading that committee, and I was communicating with the people on that committee. And she was largely ignoring me when I was saying, "How does this make sense? Explain this to me." And she wouldn't speak to me because, after all, I'm a nobody, right? So
Hmm.
I
I'm
finally
glad
sent
you
her
know it.
I finally sent her an email, and I said, "Miss Click, I just wanted to reach out to you one more time because I'm writing an article for several publications across Texas, um, including what was the big one back then? Michael Quinn Sullivan.
Oh yeah,
Um,
MQ's yeah,
yeah, I was
MQS.
writing one for his, and I said I've entitled it "Click Click Boom: How Stephanie Click Dropped the Bomb on the Grassroots Conservatives Across Texas. I think you're really going to like it." And the bill died. So you can make a difference. These people will blink if you hold them accountable and shine a light on them. But right now, it seems that activists like me, they're desperately trying to discredit. They have no reason to discredit me. They profess to believe the same things that we believe, but they know they're about to stab you in the back. So they want to discredit anybody that might call them out on it. That's me.
Well, I mean, it's a thing as it should be. I put the link up for where I have been getting my numbers on how much Dead Phelan has spent. transparencyusa.org. I put the hyperlink. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the screen really fast. Uh, hey, we all might find out together who the biggest, what is. Let's see here.
Well, the most dangerous people, though, as you know, are not the ones that are stabbing you in the front, like the Democrats.
Right.
It's it's the ones that you let stand behind you that you think are on your side. That when you need them, you turn around and they pull the, like William Wallace on the battlefield when he turned around and everybody had deserted him.
Right.
Those are the dangerous ones. I'm gonna log out and I'm gonna go get on my desktop and log back in. Okay, I'll see you in a minute.
All right, we'll see you in a few. So, one of the fun things about this, what was it? Wait. I want to make sure that y'all who are playing for the drinking game, hold on, Simon. It does grind my gears, but the fun thing is, is that the other one? Spoiler alert. So if you're looking at this with me, Ryan Guillen, I've already seen 3 entries for him of $25,000 each. Valerie Swanson, I think this is the 3rd one I've seen for her as well. You kind of just have to go through. They don't do it all at one time. They kind of take their time with it. I don't want to make it look all shady. I mean, it is. It's not illegal, if that makes you feel any better. Now, some of these people only got $20,000 at a time. So, I don't know what they did not to make the cool kids list to get it $25,000 at a time. A lot of strategy groups, veterans packs, there's a lot. There is a lot of money that is going to see. This is one of the things that we talk about with when we start talking about fundraising, when we start talking about okay, I just got another link. I'm going to pull that up right now too. When we start talking about fundraising, and we give these ridiculously just absolutely ridiculous sounding numbers of 80% goes to the consultant, or, well, you know what, we raised you, if we raise you $1 million and you only get $20,000, it looks better on your FEC report. It looks better on your TEC report. And because it shows that you're raising money. Okay, but never in a million years would I authorize $80,000 to make $20,000. It's literally the biggest like running these political oh, okay, I'm making my iWatch upset here. These political games and this political theater that we play to raise funds so that we look like we're the cool guy on campus is absolutely absurd. If you are running a business, now I'm not talking like, we all know the saying, you got to spend money to make money. I hear you. I mean, God knows I hear you. I do, because you got to get your name out there. You got to do what you need to do. But you before you even get to spend that $20,000 out of that $1 million, most of that goes to these companies. That's not looking as pretty as it looks when you're seeing these numbers. When you go through and you look at like Crenshaw stuff, when the money that he's sending to Pink Cilantro, the same company that his wife works for, and all of Dan's friends are also doing. And look, we talk about that with small businesses. Hey, refer your friends. Tell your friends to come to my business. And I get it. I'm not. I know. I'm sorry, Miss Patty. It's because it's Friday. So I just think I get to do what I want to and say whatever I want. I'm with you. Like, refer your friends to my business, and hey, that's exactly how businesses grow, right? Simon, you can attest to that. Anybody else on here that's ever been a business, especially if it's a consumer based business, or every business is a consumer based business. You can't just say, okay, random strangers, let's just see what happens. You get referrals, you get your friends to do this, all sorts of you're not wrong. All sorts of stuff like that. Let me see. Hold on, I just got this one. This is from. I kind of hate. I like to have sources. Warren, Do you have like a? Where did they get these numbers entirely from? Like, this is supposed to be the full breakdown, and I'll show it just because I kind of can. Hold on a second here. Districts. Now this is supposed to be. I'm gonna go ahead and show this really quick, guys. This is supposed to be Charlotte. Then you better go talk to Alex, please. I'm on the air. Well, then you're no. This is supposed to be the total amounts that Dade Phelan spent on legislators. Nope. Hold on. And I'm gonna pull John on here really quick also. We can look at this together, Johnny boy. I'm gonna enlarge this so I can't see your guys' comments really quick. But according to this, John Lujan got $439,899.99. Lacey Hall $178,502. Now I don't know if this is specifically from Dade Phelan or if this is what they pulled all together. I would like to think it's what they pulled all together. Although,
where's my guy?
It's not shown. I think these are just supposed to be the big spenders from Phelan.
Yeah, our guy supposedly got 47,000.
So I don't know. I know that some of these numbers at this point, I don't think they're too far off.
Terrorist or not, new game show. Yeah, Simon. Yeah.
Simon is the game show creator for Texas Fully Loaded. One day you know what we should do one Friday? I think this would be fun. We should all meet in Lytle and have like a big game night. Joe's place in Pleasanton used to do like a game night like once a week, and it was literally just they were playing games and people.
Yeah, we could play pin the tail on the rhino.
That sounds fun.
Some pinatas that look like some of our favorite house reps.
I'm open.
We can play that game that this is guess how I'm going to vote. Oh, we already do that. It's called a legislative session. We already do that.
It is. And it's pretty much at the whim of the chair. That's how I'm going to vote.
Yeah, and of course that other famous game, stab the back of the activist. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, I mean, everybody gets
I was just thinking that was my favorite. Yeah.
Pin the horn on the rhino. Yeah, that's good.
You have to say it properly, I suppose. That's true. I did get some good memes sent to me, and I promised to share them should I get them, and I got them. I did in fact get them. Let me get these pulled up for you guys because Warren Peace brought the meme game today. Give me 8 seconds. Hold on, let me actually pull them up.
I like your idea, Simon. A game called Impeach Joe Biden. It's fun because everybody. Yeah, but see, Joe wouldn't even know. You could impeach Joe. He has no idea where the hell he is. Yes, he doesn't know anything. I mean, he thinks the Salvation Army is the Secret Service. I mean, this guy is an idiot.
Well, okay, we're gonna. Is there a way I can make it so that nobody sees this but me? Sorry, this is the first time I've ever used a computer in my life, clearly. I do apologize to you all. I'm not really sure what's happening here. I just wanted to enlarge these pictures, and I know that that's a real thing that should be happening right now. It's fine. It's fine. We'll just do it this way. Here it is. I had some really good conversations last night, speaking to some activists and stuff. And You were saying earlier that you'd really like to just hang out with Brian Slayton, and
I'd like to
before
meet him. Yeah.
Brian, before he was cool, we hung out all the time. We'd go to all those freaking Republican Party craps or like, dinners or whatever that people from across the state would be at. And we'd get to kind of hang out a little bit there. The very first time I think that I ever got to hang out with him was, of course, here, this is always nice to see. Look at them uniting.
Let me
Mitch
share my screen real
McConnell
quick with you, Sandra. Let me
Schumer.
show you guys something. I'll just
No, you go. Do it.
I'll do it 1 second. Okay, we back up one.
Okay.
Okay, so here's we've been fighting these imposter packs in Montgomery County for a while. It's like whack-a-mole, and it's hard because the county chairman's wife is the one leading the parade. She's the one always doing it. And indeed, that's how he got elected, with one of these imposter packs called the Republican Voters of Texas PAC, where they showed up at the polls and impersonated the Republican Party. So here's their website, just to show you guys what I'm talking about. Here's their Facebook page. It says, red, always vote red, vote Republican. They don't care about that at all. Not in the least. They don't care about that. They just want, it should say vote Rhino, vote my cousin, whatever. But when you go down to their webpage, this is their link to their webpage. Bam. Gone. So I suspect it'll pop up as another PAC, Republican Club or whatever, the next iteration of, fraudulent bullshit activity they're going to come up with, because that's the only way they know how to do campaigns. And what's disheartening about this is the local politicians. You have the cowards who say, y'all just get along. Y'all just need to get along with these people. You have the nefarious types that are giving money to these PACs. And then you have some of the conservatives, but there's only a few of us that stand up to them and say, what you're doing is wrong, it's unethical, and it's hurting our county, it's hurting our party. I'm about to turn my guns on the cowards. I'm about to do that because they are enabling these people. And every time I hear this, y'all just need to get along, you're all Republicans, again, that is spoken out of ignorance or dishonesty. And either way, I can't have you in office if that's how you're going to be. Either you're going to have a spine or you're not. And I'm about done with you. And I'm going to start naming names, and it's going to get really brutal on here, and it's going to cause trouble in the grassroots because these people are chicken shit. And it hurts us when they go up there and they stab us in the back when we put so much into them. We spent a tremendous amount of capital getting our county judge elected here. And as soon as he got in office, he runs over, he gives a speech saying, and these people that supported me, I didn't ask for their support, and totally screws us over here. And then says, I'm not backing them. They caused too much trouble. Yeah, we caused trouble for you because we fought the establishment guy. So I'm done with them all, and I'm about to start going after all of them and naming names here. And look, I'm just a guy. If you think I'm nobody, that's fine. But you obviously think I'm somebody enough to have my name in your mouth in your office in front of a crowd of people. I'm done. I'm about that close to just going after these people and exposing them for who they are, Sandra.
John, I wish I could tell you that you feel alone, but you're not alone. If that's any solace for you, I was over here just kind of perusing because I like to peruse sometimes when the moment allows. I like to peruse. It was odd to me. I'm going through Dade Phelan's expense thing here on Transparency USA, the link that I sent. He has at least 3. I'm on page 12 now. Expenditures to an Oklahoma City consulting firm. And it's odd to me because he's paying about 6 or 7 or 8 or I don't know, 900 other consulting firms here in Texas. Why is the Speaker of the House for Texas sending money to Oklahoma City?
I don't know. And there's so much going on behind the scenes that we don't get to see. And this is, even when Kevin Brady was in office and the grassroots would go after him because he had a horrible voting record, I would always caution and say, you know what? We're not privy to know what the quid is for the pro quo up there. We don't know what we're getting. Turns out we weren't getting anything. But we didn't know that. So I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. And I do that with our guys too. But when it just becomes so obvious that it's not about us. It's about what they're getting for themselves. And there's a game that these rhinos play up there, and it goes like this. When you have a red county, the reddest county in the nation, like Montgomery County, um, the representative from that area is an existential threat to the chairman because
Hmm.
he is everything. His values are such, and he was put in office by people with values that are consistent with the Republican Party of Texas, that are Christian conservative values. So he is an existential threat to the rhino that compromised his position, his principles to be there, or that never had him in the first place. Let's be honest. So the game they play, Sandra, is they'll go to that conservative out of a red county and say, "Hey, let's just use a name. Hey, Mark Keogh. Let's just make up a name. Hey, Mark Keogh. If you'll give the seconding speech for me on the floor and support me, then I'll give you these committee assignments, and you'll be golden, and we'll team together. We'll do great things." And so what that does is it undermines that rep with their base because they said, "Oh my gosh, this guy just compromised with this guy that doesn't think the way we do. Uh-oh, what's going to happen now?" And then, of course, once the rep is vulnerable and has lost his base, they find somebody to run against him. This just happened. That happened to Keogh, and that also happened to Steve Toth recently. Steve Toth endorsed Brian Crist, even though he was unopposed in the last election, as a way of saying, "Hey, I just want peace. Let's all get along. Let's just do it. Let's just be pals and get along." And for Steve's olive branch he extended, they took it from him, wrapped a bunch of other ones around it, beat him over the head, and went and recruited somebody to run against him because they thought that he was vulnerable now. And they got somebody, and the Republican Voters of Texas PAC endorsed Steve's opponent, and they ran against him. And idiots like me went to the polls out there and stood next to Steve and said, "I'm mad at you for what you did, but I'm not stupid. I'm going to vote for you, and I'm going to support you in this election because I like the way you vote on stuff. But I wish you would stop doing this just get along thing." And he said, "It'll never happen again. And I'll be damned if it's not happening again, Sandra."
Well, he meant it for about 10 minutes, John, until somebody went against him.
Yeah. And now it's going to be, look at John picking on me. And no, I'm not picking on you. I've been consistent all the way along. Be a man about it. Come and talk to me about it. I'm annoyed with it, right? I've known him a long time, and I'm just really over this y'all just get along thing, because it's that statement is either you're ignorant, and look, if you believe that the chairman of the party can just say, "Hey, CEC, I see the way y'all all voted. Screw you. I'm going to go ahead and nullify your vote and just do what I want." If you think that's the right thing, if you think the chairman threatening a lawsuit against a CEC member for speaking the truth about the chairman's wife's PAC being condemned for dirty electioneering, that's fine. You go ahead and think that way. We disagree. We wholeheartedly disagree. But don't just make it sound like it's just two people arguing over something. It's not. There's principles at play here, and either you're principled or you're not. And I think you're showing us. I think it's pretty clear. I haven't wanted to see it, but it's very clear now.
Well, here's the thing: like they want you to. Everybody should just go along and get along and be all kumbaya because they're all doing the same dirty crap.
Yeah, you can't do
it. You're not going personal on people. You're talking physically about their political and business practices. You're not talking about anything about her as a personal person. Like you don't say she goes around and kicks dogs. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I don't know. No, I don't know. Look, I
just
always get the same
like,
thing. You get convicted in your Christianity all the time by these people. It's like, we're all Christians. Are we? Do Christians act like that? Do Christians spread lies and slander about people like these people do? Do Christians do these kind of things? I don't see it.
Christians, according to many articles that have been being written, even within our own ranks of Christianity, we're just supposed to sit down and shut up and just keep taking it.
Yeah. Well, you women are.
Especially us women. And God help us if, you know what, Miss Patty, we're not allowed to speak anymore. unless there's a man there to make sure that we're not questioning anything that they've ever said. Okay.
We need to vote on new
Ugh.
party. Well, I came up with this is Boucher's rebellion, not Shay's rebellion. It's Boucher's
Yeah,
rebellion.
it's
I'm
Boucher's
rebelling
rebellion.
against
Yeah.
all this stuff right now, and I don't give a damn who's on the other side of it. Again, I think the most dangerous people are not the ones who are just overtly working with the Democrats out there, because at least we see who they are. Now they lie about it later, but that was another frustrating thing, Sandra. They say we never work with Democrats, and I post pictures of them doing it, and Facebook posts that they made bragging about it, and then they go,
Yeah.
"Well, you're just lying. That was somebody else a long time ago from another thing after," and they have no compunction about lying whatsoever about it. So those aren't really the dangerous. It's the ones who refuse to see that are the most blind and the most troubling, because then they just walk off and walk up into the mugging and say, "Y'all just stop fighting," and reduce this thing to a struggle between allegedly two people. But you know how bad that misunderstands the problem? You had over 64 precinct chairs, the vast majority of the county executive committee here, sign a petition basically saying, our chairman's wrong. He's wrong. And so the way that these guys, these mental midgets, want to solve this problem is to say, "Oh, well, let's sit John down with Brian and y'all come to an agreement."
Yeah.
It's not my place to tell 64 people to shut the hell up and not hold to their principles. They're so used to making these backroom deals like that, Sandra, that it's just so foreign to them that we won't do that. I'm here reflecting the vote of the 64 people and the will of them. I don't tell them what to vote.
Well, John, that's why you're doing it all wrong. And if you would just take your cues from people like Phelan, then you wouldn't be having this problem. Interesting, Wendy.
I'm in the Boucher army. She's a general.
Simon's literally tallying this up. I'm gonna need the Whitney
She's a
ears to
general
come
in
out.
the Boucher army. Well, I don't want to have an army. I went to the CEC meeting the other night and I said, "Hey guys, listen. These people are saying that I want power. I ran for chair the first time because Judge Sadler backed out and we needed somebody to run to bring order to the party that knew how to run the party. I didn't win the election. That's fine. I didn't run the next time. You guys asked me to be vice chair. I volunteered to step up and help whatever talents or abilities I had to help you guys with this, and I'm doing that. But now they keep changing the narrative every time one leg gets cut out from under them about their lies, about why things are the way. Instead of just admitting, yeah, we're a bunch of power-hungry, lying scumbags that just want to get our friends and cronies elected.
Right,
Instead of just admitting that, they come up with a different excuse every time as to why they're doing what they're doing. And the latest excuse that our chairman and his wife like to put out there is that John Boucher just wants power. He wants the party. So I said, I offered to resign when this started if our chairman would just follow the rules of the party and respect the vote of the majority. I'm offering that again. I'm happy to step down and go run my businesses. And I would recommend Dale Inman, the SREC, as the vice chair of the party if y'all wanted to do that, because he is the SREC. It would make sense, given the nature of this battle right now between the chairman of this party claiming that, the state party's on his side and all the lies he's been telling out there. I think the contrast of having the state Republican Executive Committee members against him and one of them being the vice chair makes sense. So I'm willing to resign tonight. And they said, please don't. So because I'm a servant and I respect what they want, I'm staying on to do that job. And I will continue to stay on to do that job until they don't want me to do it. But even if, I had a gentleman ask me the other night, he goes, well, if Brian resigns, do you become the chairman? I said, for about 5 minutes until we elect a new one. I've never been interested in that. It's not what I'm trying to do. And whoever is chairman, if they want my help, I'm happy to help them. If they don't want my help, I'm happy to go away and just run my business. So, we just got to keep dealing with this narrative. And then they have some House rep come in and say, y'all just need to get along. They deserve to be punched in the throat. They really do.
They really, absolutely. And when we were getting text
Did they
messages.
blackmail you with those pictures of you and Lauren?
Actually, interestingly enough, he was hoping so, because
Well, I posted them.
He was anxious to see the Photoshop version of those so that he could print them up and put them on his wall.
Wendy
They won't
says
release
no,
it
hell
yet.
no. I'm here,
Well,
Wendy. I'm in for the fight. It's just it doesn't mean that I'm getting out of the fight. I'm all in for the fight. This is where my heart is. This is what we need to do, just like you are. So don't worry about that. It's a matter of tactics. It's a matter of, if you're in a boxing match and the jab's not working, you better come up with some with changing some footwork or do something a little bit different, which is what we're trying to do. But look, everything is working right now, and the rhinos are so desperate they're threatening litigation. They have accused me of crimes at this point and sent it out within the CEC. And okay, go ahead and keep sending it around in the CEC. But as soon as somebody leaks that, it's going to be deemed that you published it. And if I think it's damaging to my reputation and my attorney thinks so, then we're going to have a little good time in court about that, because what you're doing is BS, and you know it's BS. There's been no crimes committed here whatsoever. You have not a leg to stand on. So floating that out there is a way to try and intimidate CEC members. I know you're not trying to intimidate me, because if you are, you're so stupid because you haven't been paying attention. I don't intimidate very well.
well, listen,
So bring it on. Let's do it. You've floated it out there. Let's see if you can reel it back in now before it gets outside of the CEC, because once it does, that's considered published. And all the saying, well, I didn't publish it, somebody else did, doesn't matter. You're the one said it. Go ahead, Sandy.
Hey, who smelt it, doubt it. The jellyfish of all things political in Texas Fully Loaded has determined that we have not taken a commercial break, and we might have more of this. We definitely will have more of this conversation after this moment from our sponsors. Sorry, y'all. I was actually texting, not testing. Although I'm surprised I'm not. One of our sponsors right now, of course, Justin, our dear friend from Skyline Companies. We're discussing the business of next week in Austin. So we're super excited about next week, and just to kind of see what fun we can get into, and talk about the fabulous people in Austin. So thank you, Justin and Skyline Companies, for supporting Texas Fully Loaded. Of course, Montgomery County Tea Party. Don't forget, we have a Tea Party meeting on Monday. It doesn't really work as well, but we're gonna make it work on Monday. Kind of sounds a little Cajun-y there, John. Who's speaking Monday night? Do you know?
I have no idea. Pat should be able to tell you.
Miss Patty, let us know who's speaking, but it will definitely air on Texas Fully Loaded website. Okay, hold on. I got to fix the website part where I can just live stream straight to it, which I can. I just have to sit for more than 10 minutes. And then, but it'll definitely be on all of our social media stuff, and the Montgomery County Tea Party social media. And then, of course, don't forget about Greg Parker's books on Amazon.com. Go to Amazon.com and type in Greg E. Parker and get all 3 of his books. You're not going to regret it, I promise. Of course, we had, I don't know where this freaking flyer has gone. Kenneth Ernst is who's going to be speaking on Monday night, so that'll be exciting. I can't find, John, do you have the flyer for the censorship rally?
I will look it up.
Okay, because we've got that coming up on the 26th. You don't want to miss it. I kind of showed it from my phone, but it deserves big screen information because it's good stuff.
Working-
Kyle Rittenhouse is going to be there.
Yes.
If y'all aren't screaming yet, you need to check your pulse. It's going to be in Conroe. It's going to be the 26th. You do need to register because they're going to be providing food and drinks. So you want to make sure that you get counted for so that you can get deliciousness. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, we've been working with that with our dear friend Mark Pruitt. So I'm really excited that we are being involved. Miss Wendy said she's got her VIP tickets already. Well, look at you. Love it. We need more of that. We need more. Give me more. And then another one. This is exciting too. Hold on, y'all need to see this. This is super exciting. On on Wednesday. I need to make this. This does have to get bigger. On Wednesday of this coming week, Senator Bob Hall has made a movie with Dennis Quaid. Are you hearing this? Did I not already save this? Hold on, let me make sure because this is important stuff too. 6. I thought I did. What's the name of this? He's got a movie that's premiering at the Capitol. Oh yeah, I did. Okay. At the Capitol. Oh, there's the rally against censorship. This is going to be super exciting. Do you see a .com on where to get your
It's 7 to 10 p.m. I know it's covered up by our logo, but it's definitely 7 to 10 p.m.
Miss Wendy, do you have the link that you got your VIP tickets at? Here, hold on. Hold on. Watch me. I don't do this for just anybody. I removed our logo so people can see that.
And by the way, from what I understand, Southern Star Brewery is already getting some grief because the Houston Chronicle reported this as Kyle Rittenhouse is coming and a bunch of right-wing activists. So they're trying to use the trigger words for the lunatics to come and screw things up.
People.
Of course, I want to set up a shooting range there at the deal. Maybe just have dart guns or something with a bunch of terrorists. One guy with a skateboard silhouette running at you, and you can shoot him down.
It's both of us.
I'm sure that would really make them happy.
It would.
I mean, you talk about a Darwin Award. I think I'm going to go, this guy with the AR-15, I'm going to go whack him with the skateboard and see what happens.
I'm super glad that y'all can see that really well. So the name of the film is called Grid Down, Power Up. It's going to be in the Capitol Auditorium on Wednesday. The first showing is at 12. There's going to be an expert panel at 1. Texas Fully Loaded will be airing the expert panel. It will not be on TECN.TV, but it will be on Texas Fully Loaded stuff. So because it's of course after we go off the air, and we're still working out some kinks on all of that for Tuesday and Wednesday both. And then the second showing is going to be at 2 p.m. Senator Bob Hall did this with Dennis Quaid. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. I've been messaging with Amy from Senator Hall's office. It's going to be exciting. I'm getting pumped up about it, y'all.
That does sound like a good time. Art imitates reality or whatever, vice versa. The Babylon Bee put this out, and I'm scared that Big Pharma is going to take it as a suggestion. It says Pfizer reportedly working on vaccine to counteract gas stove emissions.
You know what? I'm glad that somebody's taking that initiative.
Yeah.
Now, John, I got something that this is wow.
Yeah, share us some of them memes. Paintball, Pat said, yeah.
You know what? I don't know that this is false information. I think that this is real life right this minute. Hold on a second. This is late breaking. Give it just a second. It's coming in. That's what she said. Hold on. Hold on. Here it comes. Share screen. John, you know that I don't like to do things with rumors. I don't, not even for a second, especially it might tarnish Texas Fully Loaded or any of the hosts here on Texas Fully Loaded. So we need to discuss this because I love you. Okay. This just came in. Can y'all see that?
That is awesome. Who did that?
You know what? I'm not at liberty to give my sources, and that didn't share it as good as it should. Hold on a second. That deserves. There we go. That's better.
There you go.
I don't even know what to say, John.
That is excellent. That's excellent.
It was
I mean, it looks so
specifically
real.
it very lifelike, John. I don't know how I feel right now. I kind of feel I don't know. I'm feeling some kind of way. I do.
That's awesome.
Oh
Is that
man.
Simon sent that into you?
Simon did send that to me.
Good one,
I mean,
Simon.
some unnamed source from Lidl. Unnamed sources from Lidl sent that to me. All right.
Yeah, and I joke around about Lauren on the show, but actually that word got out, and somebody asked me, are you having an affair with some lady named Lauren? I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, Congresswoman Lauren Boebert actually even knows who the hell I am. That's right.
I love people. They're my favorite.
I got to tell you, I mean, I play music in front of, lots of people, and somebody asked me one day, they're like, hey, does your wife ever get concerned about you playing music in front of all these women? And I'm like, my wife laughs about it when she sees these women there dancing all crazy and stuff. There was one night she was sitting in the audience with her friend, and there was a lady right in front of the stage, Sandra, and she's dancing. She's got this low-cut bustier thing on, and she's right in front of me, and she's pushing them together like she's trying to make one good one.
Oh, that's hysterical.
And my wife is behind her just laughing about it. And her friend's like, you ought to kick her ass. And I'm like, whatever, And, maybe when I was a younger man, my wife would get upset if I ever came home, and I never did, just to be clear, with lipstick on my collar or smelling like perfume. But now at my age, if I show up at the house smelling like Ben Gay and Polygrip and there's a pair of Depends in my car, then she might get a little worried. But I'm not the guy that's going to do that anyway. So.
It's funny. My stepmom has the same problem when my dad's band plays. It's hysterical.
Yeah. Now I will confess something. I had a little fun one night. I was on stage at the Hard Rock Cafe in Houston, and there was a group of nurses there. And this blonde-haired nurse, she was an attractive woman. She comes up to the stage in the middle of our set, we're between songs. And she goes, Johnny, come here. And I leaned down. She goes, are you seeing anyone? And my wife was there sitting at the table with some friends. And I said, well, just only person I'm seeing really is my wife. I'm married for a long time. And she looks at me for a minute. She goes, do you think your wife might be into, the three of us? I said, I like the way you're thinking. You should go ask her. Because the thought of her going over to my wife and saying that, if you know my wife, would have just been freaking hysterical. But my guitar player went into full panic mode. He's like, did you really just do that? I said, oh, this is going to be funny. But she didn't go. But it would have been hilarious. Just my wife would have probably killed her, and it would have been awesome. So.
Oh, that's funny. Hold on. I'm downloading these pictures because my computer's being ridiculous right this moment. So give me just a second. We talk all the time about all of the activism stuff that is happening across the state. We want to make sure that we are the ones who are giving you the latest, greatest everything. And in order for us to be true hands-on reporters, because we are, we need your support. So if you can, go to texasfullyloaded.com and click on that hashtag We the People Work. Or if you see us, don't be afraid to give us a check or cash or RBs, whatever if you have a shirt business and you're interested in linking up with us while we're getting ours off the ground, whatever you feel led to do. So this is the fun thing, is this is a business. This is not a political campaign. In fact, when I was speaking with one of our activists last night, and he said, Sandra, are you running again? And I started laughing and I said, that's the biggest, that seems to be like the question on everyone's lips. I'm refusing to answer that right now. I'm watching and praying and waiting. And he goes, well, you sure are awfully active for somebody who hasn't made a decision yet. And I said, do we have an opportunity not to be active? And he goes, well, no, you're right. We don't. And I said, exactly. We do not have the opportunity to not be active right now. We just don't. And before I decided to run for office, when I had first went to college, that I didn't finish because I decided that I thought I needed to try and save the world instead, which I still do. And I'll go down that rabbit trail later, but I wanted to make sure that we were getting good people into office and holding people accountable that are in office. That was my dream back in 2018, the beginning of 2018. And it's still something that I value. And that's something that I try to, that I want to bring forth, if you will. I was listening. I was actually emailed this morning from, or last night, one of the two, from the blind. Hold on. I want to make
Sandra,
sure I say.
Would you please incorporate that picture that Simon sent you into the Texas Fully Loaded intro?
I absolutely will, because of course.
Yeah. Hashtag John's girlfriend. Yeah.
AKA, I will put that on there. You know what? Part of why we still have, just so y'all know, part of why we still have the November video playing is I'm trying to find the program that I used to make that commercial with. And I know that sounds ridiculous, and it is. I completely own it, that it is ridiculous. But I don't like the one that I used when I did the December commercial. I did to an extent, but not entirely. This is first world problems, and these are things that I'm trying to work through. And if you go to TexasFullyLoaded.com, I don't have to rely on free programs, because maybe I can buy my own program and do what I want. Anyway, last night I got an email from Dave Milner. He is the unpleasant blind guy, and he has a show. I believe he actually even just joined TECN.com's family. I'm sorry, TECN.tv's family, as well as the Underground Professor. And I got to listen to a little bit of their show this morning. He sent me a link for their stuff. And you know what? Let me put that on here. Because so as iron sharpens iron, as they say. Anyway, when they were talking, they said, I think it was the Underground Professor made the comment about something that he has always talked about is each one teach one. So it's like where you learn something, and then you watch somebody do something, and then you do something, and then you teach the next person how to do it. And so anyway, so it was it's something that, number one, it freaking makes sense, right? And number two, it's something that if you're truly passionate about what we're doing here, and I know I am, I know John is, I know Walt is, we have to continue to, I just want to copy this link. Hold on a second. It doesn't like me. You guys know technology is not my friend. We have to, if we really want change, which the people in Austin and DC do not, we can't just talk about the problems. We have to have solutions to the problems, and we have to expose the problems. We can't just, my favorite is like, oh, you can't talk about the problem if you don't have a solution for it. Well, I might not have the solution for it, but that doesn't mean that somebody else doesn't have a solution. They just don't know what the problem is. Walt got a phone call from some people that we had met at the prayer rally, the J6 prayer rally over the weekend. And they were talking, and they had just casually mentioned something that they were frustrated with in one of the investigations that they were going with. And Walt came, said, well, hey, have you considered X, Y, and Z? And they were like, no, you know what? Let me look into that a little bit. Called him back, and like, Walt's apparently a world problem solver. Who would have thunk it? It couldn't have happened to such a nice guy. So now they're blowing up his phone instead, which is also nice. But then we were all, the same thing happened with me. I was looking at something for them. They were actually helping me try and find somebody that we kind of had some feelings about, if you will. And while we were going through the stuff, I said, I saw this. I didn't see what I was specifically looking for, but I noticed this trend. Have you considered? And so they kind of went back and they looked and they said, holy crap, So then they're like, we've got something else to consider. And that's the thing, like we can't just sit here and just like hold it all into our own little pockets. Like we gotta share what we have. I tell people all the time, I'm the world's greatest problem solver, but not if you ask me. But if I just fall into it, it happens. It's amazing. Like I can set the world on fire. I walk into the kitchen and there's nothing, and I create a gourmet meal, and like everyone's like, I didn't even know we had that stuff. That's just what that some people have. Everybody's got gifts, and you can't assume that just because you don't have the answer that somebody else doesn't.
Yeah. Well,
Teamwork does make the dream work, Miss Wendy.
Sandra, changing gears, what the hell do you think's going on with all this COVID stuff right now? Because it's really kind of died down here in the United States. China supposedly has a huge problem right now. The World Health Organization is saying we don't really understand what's going on with it over there. What do you suppose is really happening with that, Sandra?
Well, I did just see on Spectrum One. If you have Spectrum, you should watch them. They're actually pretty decent. And they were saying that Biden actually just put more of the BS back up again, even after he was saying it had all started to kind of die down. They're always looking for new strands. They got to make noise. They got to keep people living in fear. One of the things, it's kind of in the same realm of this conversation. So a lot of people were told at the beginning of COVID-19 that you have to quit smoking because if you're a smoker and you catch COVID-19, it's actually going to be worse for you. Then as COVID goes on, we found out the exact opposite, that it was people who were smoking because of the nicotine have that kind of layer on their lungs, right? And so apparently in some of the new House rules that Kevin McCarthy has since passed, they now are allowing more smoking back in the Capitol.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I don't know what's happening with it, but I understand Pfizer and some of the other ones are coming up with a new delivery method for the next round of vaccines that's coming out because, plastic is a contaminant in California and you don't want to have that. So they had to find a more effective way to do what they've been trying to do. So this is what they've come up with. It's a brand new vaccine delivery method. It's self-administered and it just cuts out a lot of time and aggravation with the process of waiting to die. So yeah.
Rough crowd.
Well, I mean, like we covered on the show yesterday, I think they said the Black Death had a mortality rate of 17 to 20%, depending on which numbers you look at, and remdesivir I think was 52% in trials. So they were administering a poison that was more deadly than the deadliest plague we've ever had to address an illness that was nothing more than the common cold to most people that got it. So yeah, it was this whole world. My son sent me something today. And there's always rumors and stuff flooding the zone, but this was supposedly sent out September 5th on 2019 by somebody. It said this will originate from a pharmaceutical company working with military ops in the West Coast state. It will be accurately planted in major cities and will cause flu-like symptoms and may be deadly to elders and babies, but the media will report it as deadly for everyone. But it's a hoax, and the vaccine will be the real killer, packed with copious amounts of toxic metals. So don't accept any vaccines that would be released for a deadly virus in the winter of 2020. That was posted in 2019. When did they start with the COVID vaccine, Sandra?
2020.
Yeah. So I mean, it's hard sorting through all this stuff.
I'm going to keep the rest of that comment in my pocket.
Excuse me?
I said, and I'm going to keep the rest of that comment right in my little pocket.
I wish I could do that. Nobody's ever had to wonder what I'm thinking.
You know why? Because it's not a popular thought since there's only one person running for a Republican nominee right now. Moving on. This was news. I tried to bring it up on the air yesterday, and we didn't get a chance to in our international news. No. This is exciting. Isn't this a South Carolina Republican congressman wants to put a Zelensky bus in the Capitol? This was introduced by Representative Joe Wilson, a Republican from South Carolina. You're gonna be shocked here, but Andy Biggs shot back and said, "Are you freaking kidding me?
Good for
Over
him.
$100 billion to Ukraine wasn't enough. Now we need to put a statue in the halls of Congress."
Good for him. I see Simon Garcia said the Spanish flu killed so many people they didn't even have an accurate count. It was 1,700 million. And interesting that we can call it the Spanish flu and not be called racist. We can call it the German measles. We can call it, Russian whatever.
No, I've been offended every time you've opened your mouth to call,
Russian measles, German whatever, measles,
I'm
whatever.
highly
You can
offended.
say all those things, but as soon as you say China virus, everybody loses their damn mind.
Yeah. Why? I told why. The taco
flu. My bad. Gosh. Yeah.
I love it. We should talk about it.
Oh, that's horrible.
I know. These are the
That's
jokes,
horrible. That was
folks.
not fantastic at all, Sandra.
I was being cheesy about something, I think yesterday, to Walt on the phone, and I said, "Get it? Because it's Taco Tuesday and it's tacos." And he's like, "Please make this stop." It is not your problem.
Hmm.
Do you have to get a shot of tequila in order to keep the taco flu away? Anyone? Because I'm up for those kinds of shots.
What were some of the other ones? I mean, you had the.
I just work here, folks. I'm so sorry. This was another good piece of fun. Kevin McCarthy is now making agreements to release all J6 security footage. That was one of the concessions that he had to make to Matt Gaetz.
Not enough. Not enough. They need to prosecute. Look, if the police officers on those videos moved the barricades and waved people in and there was a crime committed, they were accomplices.
Oh, absolutely they were.
Too, every one of them.
Well, and here's part of the problem is that we physically, Condemned USA, Turnus Evans, and those who have been fighting this J6 for the J6ers, they are proving over and over and over again where the timelines have been changed. When I was talking to Turnus about this specifically, I made the statement. I said, we had a friend who we no longer speak to anymore, and I remember on that Friday, on J6. He was on that day. He's like, yeah, this happened and then this happened. I was like, well, no. It was this and then this and then this. Like we were watching it. In fact, I was watching it happen on so-and-so's phone feed. And then I was also watching it on the news. And then they're like, no, I think that was backwards. And I was like, what? And so anyway, we're seeing evidence where they're changing the timestamps on stuff, or they're trying, they made their own flow of events. P.S. We talked about YouTube yesterday, remember? And Walt had said that one of our shows, we've gone live on Bacon Nation's YouTube page twice. The first time we did it, I don't think we had any issues. The second time we did it, he thought that they took it down because we were being mean about Kevin McCarthy. And so we were talking about it, and I said, I don't think it was the Kevin McCarthy comments. I think it was the fact that we were calling out the J6 stuff. I bet that's why they took it down. And he's like, it's an ongoing investigation. It's literally in the courts right now. Who are they to say that we can't talk about that? And I was like, I mean, they do what they want. I don't know what you want me to say. That's just what they do. But they actually emailed him and said that they took down that video because it went against their community starfish standards. Just so you guys know,
justice for Ashley Babbitt. Yeah. Definitely. And again, if there was a crime committed and Ashley Babbitt was committing a crime, then and she was murdered, then the officers that allowed her into the deal, that waved her in, they were complicit. And that means they set the trap.
They did.
Yeah. So, I mean, all these people need to go to prison if that's the case.
And you know,
And
okay, John, you did investigations with law enforcement, right? You were the
well,
guy
I
who
wasn't. I have a degree in law enforcement, police science, but I went private sector, and I did do. I was part of the what used to be called the Nigerian Task Force in Houston. It
racist.
was,
Go
it
on.
was a fraud test.
Sorry.
You can't call it that anymore because it would be racist. But there were members of the U.S. Postal Service, Secret Service, Houston police officers, and I was part of that as a private citizen because I was working in some of the largest retail spaces in the city of Houston, and so I had direct access to information, and so I was part of that task force, along with a gentleman named Matt Binder, who was the head of Telecheck at the time, their security department. He passed away of an aneurysm several years ago. He's a very good friend, but yeah, so I have done that kind of work. So what's your point?
So my question then is, so we know that there's task force, you know, to catch pedophiles and whatever. They lure them in, right? But then they say, hey, we set this up, and there's documentation that we set this all up, and so that way the police officers that were involved don't get charged with these crimes. Correct? Is that's the thing? You would think that if they were just baiting all of these MAGA Republicans into an insurrection on the Capitol, that they would come forth and say, you know what, we did do this. Here's the documentation to prove that, you know, we were just setting the trap and to see what was going to happen, just like we do with prostitution, just like we do with human trafficking, just like we do with yada yada yada. They haven't done that yet. Why? So every single one of those law enforcement officers that were present, that we have the video of them moving, that we have the video of them beating up bystanders, that we have the video of them, you know, saying, "Yeah, come right on in." Why aren't they being prosecuted, and why can't we go after them privately?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, the evidence is right there.
BLM does
It's
it
it's
over
it's
stuff that they were completely in the wrong about. They still
it's
go after
direct
them and
evidence.
win.
There's video of it, right? There's eyewitnesses, and it's just like you have, these prosecutors that are acting like Ray Charles and they can't see anything, and it's upsetting to me because, as I mentioned a while back on the book of Habakkuk, when the courts fail the people and they subjugate them to the evil, and that's what's happening. That's what it feels like in my spirit, is that there's no remedy. There's nowhere to go. I mean, there's no justice here. I mean, it is clear what has happened, and the courts are selectively enforcing the law against certain people while ignoring all the things that made those perceived criminal violations possible.
Mm-hmm.
Because had security kept the doors locked and the barricades up, you wouldn't have had the Capitol flooded with people.
Right. Right.
So there would have been no crime. And so they look at it and they go, well, you were in the Capitol. Yeah, but the security guard opened the door, held it for me, let me in. It's on video. That's not admissible.
I strongly encourage people to go and watch Bloody Hill. You can find it on Rumble. It is a fantastic video. 107 is in it. Trennis Evans is in it. Some of the other guys that were at the event on Saturday the 6th, I'm sorry, Saturday the 7th were in it. Were part of my Sumeral was in it. And it has actual raw video camera footage. It has actual testimony at the time that it's happening. In it, it's just fantastic. There's another one. There's Bloody Hill, and then there's The Call. I think that's the name of the other one. I haven't watched that one yet, but go back and watch these. See for yourself. Don't just rely on CNN or CNBC or MSNBC. But you gotta look at both sides. You gotta see both sides before you can make an honest opinion. John, I hate to do this to you, but I'm getting more footage in, and we got to talk about this
again. Okay. Yes. That was when I was on my knees that time.
I was going to ask. I see that you also shrunk in this.
What was I, 12 at the time? Come on,
I'm taller than she is, and you are a foot taller than I am. So this is getting out of control. I understand why people were asking these questions about you. Oh man, what are we gonna do? What are we
Lauren Boebert. That's like the picture I had with Sarah Palin was going around for a while too.
Walt's got a picture with Sarah Palin, and that is like his favorite picture because that's Walter's political girlfriend is Sarah Palin.
Yeah, Sarah Palin. When I don't know if I mentioned the story. So we were at an event one night. She had finished taking pictures with some people. She was just standing there by herself, and I was standing a few feet away from her. And I didn't, I wasn't in line to get a picture taken with her. And she's looking over and she nodded her head like hello. And I said, okay, just one, but don't ask me again. And I walked over and I took a picture with her. And she just busted out laughing. She goes, you're a hoot.
You're a real hoot, don't you know?
Yeah, that's you're a hoot. Who are you? I said, no, I'm nobody. I'm just having some fun. So yeah, she was pretty cool though.
That is Walter's girlfriend, and when I make fun of her accent, I get in trouble. I do. Let's see. Simon said, if you suffer your people to be ill-educated and their manners to be corrupted from their infancy, and then punish them for those crimes to which their first education disposed them, what else is to be concluded from this but that you first make thieves and then punish them? Utopia. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I have two pictures. Let's see. hold on. Sorry, Miss Wendy, because this is. And
that's
one
a
of
room
them.
we can start.
One of them is in fact in the infamous tutu. He saw it first.
Yeah. Where's Charlotte today? Did you like tie her up and put her back in the kennel or something?
She came in here telling me earlier that she wanted popcorn because the couple of times with all the stuff going on, I popped popcorn in the middle of the show, and so she came in and she goes, "I had to popcorns," and I said, "Did you have to tell your brother?" He's going to say no. I was like, "Well, then here we are," and she hasn't come back since I put the kibosh on popcorn. Where's your sister?
Here.
Tell her to come here because she was gonna sing today. She did come out and say this morning she was singing in the shower. She loves to sing in the shower. That's like her favorite thing to do. And she's got like a little toy that's like a little, like one of those little like grabber arm things. And so she was using it as a microphone. It was the funniest thing ever. She's literally standing in the middle of the shower. She's been doing this a couple of days. And she's like, Mickey Mouse, come out, come inside, and she's like using her little thing as a microphone. And she's like all rockering, like making Mickey Mouse Clubhouse into some death metal rocker song, which is hysterical. And I'm like, where do you come up with this stuff? And she's like, because I get to sing in the shower. You've been asked for, little princess, and people were starting to think that I tied you up and hid you somewhere.
Well, hey,
And so
speaking
here
of
you are.
female singers, rock and rollers, Pat Benatar turned 70 on the 10th. It's hard to believe that.
Wow.
Man, I really loved watching her.
Charlotte
growing
says
up,
she's
the
4.
Promises in the Dark videos, and she was just amazing. Amazing singer, iconic, actually.
Charlotte said, speaking of singers' ages, she's 4, not 70. That's why she put up her 4 fingers, John. Are you going to sing for us today? Come on, sing the fish song. It's just Mr. John. Nobody else can see you. Mr. John, Miss Patty, and Mr. Simon. Oh, that's right. Her name is now 50 Cent because I'm gangsta, and so now she's 15 Cent. She's a little gangsta. Look, Charlotte. Miss Patty said, hello, Charlotte. She had practiced this morning. This is true. She was singing it loud and proud and now presenting 15 Cent. You're not going to sing? What if you go stand over there and sing really loud and then nobody sees you? Oh, now she's being shy. She's not really, actually, even in person, y'all can all attest this. She gets really shy in person until she warms up.
No, she's a cutie. She sang Jingle Bells with me at the deal. That was fun.
I was actually fixing to bring that up, funny enough.
We need to have, Pat, Miss Tibbs, we need to have some more music at your event. So I need to get my people together. I did send out a song list recently to them to get them working. I would like just to have music every now and then. I mean, I think it would be fun to have the prayer, maybe have a praise and worship song, maybe not, maybe just a secular song, but just really get people excited about being at the Tea Party meeting and having some fun. was helping her with the words.
Now, the funny thing about this one is like you made the statement, "Hey, does anybody want to sing a song?" And she just went running right up to you. Yeah, oh, that's right. You get called out, girlfriend. You get called out, girlfriend.
Charlotte's my buddy. I like Charlotte a lot. She's awesome. My
is.
wife would steal her. My wife has been jonesing to, let's adopt a child. I'm like, by the time the kid would be out of the home, I'd be in one. We can't do that. So there's just no way I could do it. I don't even want a dog right now. That's how much little time I have to do. But the little time I do have, I log on to your show and just spend time with you.
He's like, I don't have anything else I should actually be doing.
Well, I'm procrastinating. I got all this stuff I got to work on. But I figured I'd hang out with you for a little bit. You're going to be off the air in about 8 minutes, so then
we are. I know. It's the worst part of the day / week, but then we actually sometimes get some stuff done. Sometimes. I promise I'm gonna spit spot. I promise I'm gonna work on the new commercial for January because it's halfway through the month by the time Monday's show comes around. So why not? I like to be on top of things.
So yeah. Anyway.
Awkward.
Yeah.
Well, it's Friday, folks.
I have done an amazing job of not saying the first thing that comes to my mind. And I think that has really, really helped out a lot because although I did make the comment to Ashley the other day about if we have the corn dog eating contest, we have to make a rule that you have to chew because I just and some lady she goes, hey, raise the level of the show. I'm like, lighten up.
Sorry, you're on the wrong show for that.
What am I saying? What am I saying here?
Here's the thing is that we can't just reach the pearl clutchers. Like we have to bring people in and crude humor brings people to the table. Gosh darn it.
Well, really what we need to do, and listen, I just sent an email out to the precinct chairs, and this goes for everybody out there watching the show. You can't hide your light under a bushel. You have to be out there engaging people. You got to be knocking doors. You got to be going to the events inside your voting precinct. Every house, every kitchen table, these people should know you. They should know your principles and they should know why they're voting what they're voting for. Because if they don't, at election time, one of these nefarious groups is going to show up and say, hey, Mr. Voter, welcome to the polls. Keep it red. And they're going to hand you a voter slate that's got the worst candidates on the planet. But because they said keep it red and you're ignorant and don't know any better, you're going to go in and pull the lever for the wrong person. Yep. So it's up to our precinct chairs to do this and knock on doors, go to events in your area. And that's how you get the voters to know, like, and trust who you are so that you form a resistance to the sort of deception that causes us to keep getting what we get. I mean, you can keep slashing at the leaves of evil every election cycle and saying, nuh-uh, they're lying. And they go, no, we're not. And the voters are confused and they vote for whoever's voter guide looks the slickest and the prettiest and has the key buzzwords on it. And the
exactly.
Or you can be in there to, like we've done in some precincts, when the bad guy hands them the ballot, they go, oh, no, I know who you are. And they hand it back to them. That's where we need to be.
Crazy concepts. Well, John, we're out of time for these crazy concepts. We will all be together, I think, Monday night at the Montgomery County Tea Party. So Citizens Grill, 6 o'clock. Be there, be square. Hello.
Are we going to get Lauren Gilbert as the guest speaker? It'd be funny if you dressed Charlotte up like Lauren Boebert because she's so tiny.
She's so tiny.
That would be awesome. And we could bring her there. So we have Lauren Boebert as a guest. That'd be awesome.
She's even got brown curly hair.
Right. Have like a big Lauren. Gun on her hip. Have her do her hair with the glasses. It would be perfect, Sandra.
She's got 3 brothers. I'm certain we can come up with some Nerf guns up in this joint. Yeah. All right, y'all. We love you. Have a great weekend. Do something fun. I think we're going to do something fun this week. She's given that idea a thumbs up, Mr. John. You know what? She does have some of those glasses she's supposed to wear when she watches her iPad to reduce the blue light, whatever.
She could, hey, you could even dress her up like AOC at some point because she'd be a hell of a lot more intelligent than that psycho is.
True story. And this will be the last one before we go. When I was pregnant with her, or no, right after she was born, this is like the same night I decided to run for Congress. It was like 2:00 in the morning. Fox News was playing their little reels on there, and AOC was being idolized and was being turned into a comic book hero for young girls to look up to. And I said, not a snowball's chance in hell. So AOC helped make me decide that I needed to run.
Hey,
How about
AOC is a great example of a bad example.
She is. Thumbs up. All right. We love you guys. Don't forget to go to TexasFullyLoaded.com. Click on We the People Work. Please support our show. We appreciate you. Continue to like, share, follow. And thank you, TECN.TV, for making it all possible. We'll see you guys on Monday. Bye, y'all.
Thanks for having me.